On your marks, get set, bake.
I love that.
Good flavor.
That I really like.
That is delicious.
Bakers, your time is up.
Welcome back to the Tent. It's Krème Patisserie. It's a Great British Bake Off podcast hosted by me, the Internet's Table 713, normally by the other host is the Internet's Nick Jew. But this week it's the Internet's Lunchbox 2099 sliding in because I'm down a host and I needed a hitter. And I had to call him off the bench and take him away from his life.
Yeah, and you get me and my two cats. So you may, or if you have the video version of this, there may be a kitty cat behind me at any moment.
Like right now. If you're it's a tail that
Well,
keeps
they just dove down, so they're really into the cat parkour. So there's some jumping, some clawing, it's that time of the night too where they start to get frisky.
Yeah. The zoomies have begun. Nick Jew's cat is the same way. Right when we start recording, that cat starts like, I'm about to play mama. So it's what cats do. I think they love podcasting. This is what it comes down to. Cats appreciate the spoken word. It's chocolate week in the tent this go around, and chocolate week next to bread week is the one where again you cut the wheat from the chaff. People, this is where the good can kind of show out, and the bad usually leave, and that is again what happens this go round. But let's get you all set up here. Our remaining bakers in the tent are as follows: Aaron, Ian, Jasmine, Leslie, Nadia, Natalia, Toby, and Tom are who's baking with us right now. And it's going to be a fun time in the tent. But you know the deal. And if you don't know the deal, like this is your first go around with what we're doing here, every week we do a little news segment, a little something, a little short starting. And my man Frank, of course, hit me up this week and slid us a little article because Frank does the good stuff. Frank, I need to holler at you about maybe being a guest this season. If you do me a solid and just let me know if that's something you think you can do, that'd be great. Also, Frank, it was like, hey man, well, it's in the email, the end of the show, but I'll tell you right now. We thought we were live last week. For those who were like, "Hey, man, where's the show at?" No, we recorded everything. We believed us to be live on the air, and as it turns out, we were not live. It had a very jacked up record, like it did not record our composite video and audio. So it gave us individual tracks, which I then had to go and stitch together and try to make magic with. And so if you watch the video that is available on YouTube, I did make sure we got a video up and out there. Nick Jew's video was super duper stuttery and issue oriented. But what did come out good about that is when we discussed Mackenzie making sprinkles, that I got to add that whole full fat video into the episode, and it looks good, it sounds good. When we were discussing Jessica's drag king performance as Paul Hollywood, I got to add that full fat video in, and it looked good and sounded pretty good. So it's kind of nice to have a little bit of, I don't know, it was nice to have a little space to play with. And also I learned a lot of new editing techniques with trying to get you guys to make sure you guys got a good video this past week. But we've double checked, we are live. Got all the notifications to say and such. So therefore I hope that means we're recording well and so forth and so on. So like you said, every week we do a little news story. This week, my man Frank slid us something cool. And so let's discuss.
Bakers make the world go round.
Let me do a screen share so you guys can see this, because this is one of those stories that is visual. So give me a second here to give you the whole rigmarole. These are the 23 worst fails from the Great British Bake Off that had us all gasping. Luke Field over at BuzzFeed wrote this one up. And so we're going to scroll through and do a few of these. The Great British Bake Off is back with its 16th season, and I am absolutely obsessed. This is the only reality TV show I watch, and I could write a college thesis about how perfect it is. I spent most of COVID lockdown with a cup of tea, a crochet project in my lap, and all the seasons on repeat. Yes, I am a grandmother. Season 16 has already started off with a bang, showcasing some great characters and amazing bakes. But we've also seen a few of the worst disasters to ever appear in the show's history in only the first 3 episodes. Let's all shed a collective tear for those sweet, precious amateur bakers who throughout the series just didn't have a good day in the tent and honor their valued attempts. Number 1 on this list, Cake Week signature, chocolate, coffee, and caramel Swiss rolls. This is from this series. That's how bad this was, that this one from this series has made this list. Hassan Islam, season 16, episode 1. Poor Hassan started off the season with a wet pile of mush after timing issues forced him to fill his Swiss roll with caramel that hadn't cooled yet. Watching him attempt to lift his disintegrating roll onto the presentation tray made me nearly cry. It's a shame, too. Hassan only lasted 1 episode, but he certainly made an impression. Look at this. Ugh, it looks like poop, y'all. Take number 2, Cake Week Showstopper. It's all downhill from here. Again, this is this is the one and Dan watched this episode, so he's hip to this one. I disagree that this was a disaster. It could have been a disaster, but man, Ian made it work by basically smushing the cake together to make it look like a mountain, which is what he was going to do anyway. So we know what that one is. Y'all have really picked 3 from this series. That's, I don't know. I think that's too much. You guy, Poimon's hobnobs were in a state, but I've seen worse on this show. So I just got to disagree with your homeboy. I got to disagree. Pastry Week Showstopper, All You Need Is Love, a Perry Breast. Andy Ryan from season 15, episode 5. Andy was a fun dude. He was a mechanic, and he had a cool accent, and he was a fun to watch. Andy gave us such good vibes in the tent, but he met his downfall on Pastry Week while attempting to construct a toffee stand for his Perry Breast. His car mechanic strength got the better of him, and it crumbled. The result is a rather ugly presentation for a showstopper and a trip home. Biscuit Week signature, Letter from America marshmallow biscuits. Yeah, these were kind of terrible. Keith Barron, season 14, episode 2. When everyone in the tent is using a certain technique, except for one baker, that's usually a sign of trouble. For Keith admit he wasn't using a mold to create his marshmallow sandwich cookies, aka moon pies. The results was quite a mess. Often when something is messy but tastes great, the judges are willing to give it a pass. However, when everyone's tastes great and looks great, a messy presentation from Keith will likely seal their fate. Let's scroll through some. I remember Christelle making this. Yeah, I've seen some terrible. Look at these showstoppers. The celebrity busts are awful. Good God. These brownies are a tragedy. I like the avocado baby one. I don't know. I think it's cute. Look, I only put Mark here because he got eliminated this episode, and the feedback on his kawaii themed cake was pretty rough. I think considering the challenge, the bakers all did a fine job. This is more of a disastrous failure on the part of the judges. Their culturally themed episodes were half-baked at best, and they didn't celebrate the traditions of their chosen countries. The showstopper didn't just make something cute. Bad idea, in my opinion. Yeah, they had a stretch there. They were doing like Mexico, Japan, so forth and so on. But these are people who are not from those countries. They have no kind of instinct for those, and they'd be asking them to make tacos, make this and that. It was bad, and they stopped doing those weeks after a couple of people. Enough people was like, "Hey, bro, nah, it's not for you. Don't do that."
Cultural appropriation.
It was culturally inappropriate. Yeah. Ugh. Oh my God! Look at this thing. Yeah, I do remember this when everybody just messed up the puddings. That was crazy. Souffles, the champagne and strawberry. Good Lord. What is this? Season 9, episode 6, Dan BC Harley.
At least it was supposed to be a fish, because when I looked at it, I was like, well, is that a fish? And then, okay, yeah, fish.
Dan was a favorite of the judges in the first 2 weeks, but he couldn't get it together in Patient Week. Indy with a showstopper that wasn't tasty and was kind of hard to look at. Pre even went so far as to say that she did not want to try it because of how unappetizing it looked. whenever they make these elaborate meat-filled pies, I am often flummoxed because I have never experienced one here in the States. I guess I'll have to go to the UK to try one. Just not one that looks like this. That looks disgusting. Wowzer. Oh my God, vegan Showstopper cake. Yeah, I remember Ruby had this. Ruby was a great baker. Good Lord. Oh, anyway, y'all, that is enough of that article. It's 23 of them on that bad boy. Too many for us to do here. I would highly suggest you go. Well, it's in the show notes. You want to go through that yourself? Go ahead and give that a go. But let's get this party started, right? Let's get this party started quickly, right? Our signature challenge this week: 6 mousse cups. They need to be highly decorated chocolate mousse cups. Indulgent desserts inside of chocolate cups can use any chocolate they want, but it must include a baked element. They have 2.5 hours to complete. Chocolate Mousse Cups is Allison's burlesque performance name. Was one hilarious ass joke, and it really, really got me good. And it got everybody in that tent real good. And I was just like, well done, Allison. You are a very funny comedian. And I'm glad to see she get them jokes off every so often. Let's run it down, y'all. Leslie's up top. She's making tiramisu cups. Tempered chocolate cup filled with a coffee-soaked sponge, chocolate and brandy mousse, topped with a walnut praline. So they say praline over yon. A coffee ganache and a caramel banana, along with a chocolate spoon to eat it. This is the very definition of doing too much. What do you think of Leslie's take on a chocolate cup box? Older redhead lady?
Yeah, like just trying to remember everyone, because some of them I thought were cool, and some of them I was just like, eh.
She was doing a lot. It was so much stuff going on. Even as she explained it, it was like, what, this, that, and a banana? What is you doing, lady? I was like, this is too much. It's always the addition of tossing on a caramelized banana on top of it. I'm just like, no. It's like you got to cut yourself off at some point.
I feel like the judges don't appreciate when they put extra stuff on top.
They don't. They really give you a super short brief.
Foreshadowing. It comes up again later in the episode. They didn't really make mention of it, but you could see it.
Yeah. Aaron's going for a caramel tiramisu. It's a chocolate cup molded in real espresso cups and lids, filled with and topped with, I guess, filled with a chocolate mousse, of course, but topped with a coffee caramel, milk, and gold chocolate mousse with an almond sablé biscuit made to resemble a croissant.
See, those were the ones that I thought were kind of cool, the ones that look like actual cups.
Yep. Yeah. Everybody who pulled off a cup, and not that there's one lady who doesn't do a cup, but what she makes is pretty dope. But the cups I thought were really a neat ideal. And when they most people really pulled them off. So Tom's going for tiramisu. Tom is going for coffee cups as well, as just like Aaron. Pretty much the same ideal, but just done differently. Tom's coffee cups will be filled with coffee-soaked biscotto, biscotti meaning twice baked in Italiano, a chocolate mousse that is topped with a white chocolate and marsala mousse, which is, I'm just like, okay, a little Indian flair, I feel you. Toby's going for chocolate orange cups, orange-flavored white chocolate shells, which are going to be filled with orange-infused chocolate mousse, an orange liqueur-soaked Earl Grey Genoise sponge, topped with a set orange gel.
This was one of the ones that I thought was going to be kind of like a miss.
Yeah.
It felt like it was doing too much.
Yeah.
It didn't look spectacular necessarily.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those ones where if I had tasted it, that I would have been more impressed.
Nick Jew loves her some Earl Grey. And so I bet she would have been on this one as well. Nadia is going for Summer Strawberry Delight. White chocolate cups filled with a white chocolate and pistachio cream, topped with crumbled Viennese biscuit crumbs and a white chocolate and strawberry mousse. Jasmine, chocolate praline cups. Now, this is one where she didn't really do anything spectacular cup-wise. It literally is just kind of a little bowl, but it works. Milk chocolate cups with milk chocolate hazelnut cores inside a chocolate hazelnut mousse, which is then shaped to fit inside the chocolate cup. Topped with a hazelnut caramel and a hazelnut twill leaf. Like the decoration on that one. Natalia is going for Granny's Garden cups. She's making mugs, y'all. It's a combination of white and dark chocolate. It's kind of swirled. If you look at it, it's kind of to give it a nice cuppy look. They're filled with layers of an amaretto-infused mixed berry compote, a Jacon sponge, and dark chocolate mousse. In case you don't remember, Jacon sponge, it's pretty much like angel food cake. Just that light kind of vibe. Ian's going for crack cups. It's a lot going on there. Dark chocolate Belgian beer goblets filled with chocolate genoise. Actually, I think genoise is the angel food sponge. Jacon is something else. Either way, worry not. It's cake. Dark chocolate mousse, cherry jam topped with cherry beer gel and chantilly cream. When Dame Pruley slides over like, hey man, you don't need none of this, do you? And he's like, no, I'm good. And she hit his 40. And then pass that bad boy over to Paul, who hits his 40. And then Allison takes that bad boy to go. I'm like, I love this show, man. Everybody getting their little drink on. Crake is a traditional Belgian beer style made with lambic beer, fresh cherries, resulting in a tart, fruity, and complex flavor with a vibrant red or ruby color. While some crakes are intensely sweet and made with sweetened lambic, traditional and oud crake styles are dry, acidic, and showcase the natural complexity of the fruit. The name crake, I have no idea how that's pronounced, is the Finnish word for cherry. And the addition of the fruit introduces additional sugars, which kickstart another fermentation in the beer. I have had a lambic or two in my day. It's a very tasty beer. I don't know if you've ever drank a lambic box.
I have not, no.
Man, you don't drink no more, so I can't be buying you a damn lambic, but it's very tasty. So if ever you get the chance, Shri holding it down over her kingdom.
That's Lila.
That's Lila. I can't. It's all dark.
Yeah, I can tell because she's got the tortoise shell pattern showing.
Oh, see, which I could. There it is. I see it when she moved. I was like, yeah. Let's judge their output. Toby's up first. Cracked a bit, but the Genoise hit. Prue really loves the flavor of it. The mousse needed longer to set up, but the balance of the flavor is perfect, and Prue loves the booze. For a guy who was very worried, he actually did very well. He actually remade his shells because the chocolate was just setting up too much, and initially they were very, very thick. He's like, I can't give these to these people. Look how thick this is. It was very thick. So there you go. Jasmine's up next. Very neat, precise, very beautiful, lovely, strong hazelnut and dark chocolate flavor. Tastes good. The mousse texture is slightly off. No, slightly gone is what Paul said. It's softened up a little bit too much. These are the ones that are just cups with the little leaf on top of it. Natalia, very impressed with the mugs, handle and all. Prue really enjoyed the day. Like she actually made a mug handle. Like it was really well done, y'all. You kind of got to see it. The compote has a lovely punchy flavor. Paul is unsure how the mousse has set up, but the flavor in the mouth is delicious. And I had to ask the question, as opposed to the flavor where? The flavor in your nope. See, stop myself. The flavor only gonna be tasting in your mouth, Paul. I guess maybe the flavor in your nose, you'll get a profile, but sir, that's unnecessary. It's an unnecessary turn of phrase. Ian ran out of time, didn't get the chantilly cream on. You had to see it to understand because it's supposed to look like a beer goblet, with a little foam on top.
I saw the one judge was eating it with the cream though,
yeah,
and I have to wonder if that affected the decision at all in any way.
Well, hey, Paul likes the look. Has a medieval look to it. He really likes it. Lovely mousse. It's set well. It's delicious. The cup's beautifully done. The cream would have been nice, Prue says, but hey, it's all good otherwise. And dang, Prue says she's trying not to eat it all. Paul took a little bite of the cream, was like, you ain't get it on. There he goes, hey man, this is the last 30 seconds I was whipping. And he tasted it with it. He's like, it ain't bad. And he kept it moving. So I think the cream would have been a nice addition, but not a necessary addition. Leslie likes the flavor. It's very busy. The mousse layer is so thin, it's very nearly ganache. She really missed the trick celebrating the mousse. Missed the trick is a cool turn of phrase. when discussing not getting something right. You missed the trick on that one. I'm not going to start flipping that, but I like the sound of it. Nadia looks interesting, but messy. In fact, a bit all over the place. The strawberry mousse is delicious, but soft. It's a bit like a fool, which is looser. The biscuit should be crisper. It's all just a bit too soft. As Paul brought it up, I thought I'd look it up for you guys. A fool is an English dessert. Traditionally, fruit fool is made by folding pureed stewed fruit, classically gooseberries, into a sweet custard. Modern fool recipes use whipped cream instead of custard. Additionally, a flavoring such as rose water may be added. I don't think I want to eat a fool, but I mean, I guess, hey, England, man, wow. How often do I say that as we make this show? England be on one, y'all. Aaron, so sweet. Love the look at them. Very neat. Sweet in a good way, not sweet as in the flavor, y'all. The flavors are heavenly. The mousse isn't set, though. The balance with the sponge, the coffee, the caramel, and the dark chocolate is just fantastic. Just missed it with the mousse. And so that's one coffee cup. So then we go right to the other coffee cup. And it's Tom. And Tom's there. Tom is like, oh my God, it's so neat. It's very Tom. Beautifully thin, perfect texture on the mousse. A balance of sweet and bitter, and the chocolate bring it as well. Whole thing together is exceptional. If I say all that to you, you got to know that means it's Hollywood handshake time for Tom. It's his second of the series. Paul says it could be for sale in a patisserie shop in Paris. Tom absolutely bodied it, y'all. And I got to put some respect to his name. I find it interesting. Aaron, I love what Aaron pulled off in this signature, but he's always missing just a little, I'm going to go with zhuzh, little something, je ne sais quoi. And Tom seems to always add that to his base. And I think that is what's going to separate Aaron from a lot of other people. He has to come through with that little sprinkle of extra. That little bit of what was that? The shake of cinnamon or whatever seasoning on top to make it look like a coffee art was such a smart idea on Tom's part. And it makes that ideal that they both had go that much further. And I feel like that's what Aaron was. Of course, he had a mousse that didn't work out as well as Tom's. But also, like I said, it's just things like that. That little bit of extra that I think could get him over.
It definitely feels like they're setting this up to be like a hero conquering story. Like they've made the favorite and they've built him up, but then they've got the contender coming up behind him who's just, it's like in wrestling when you've got that fan favorite underdog who like just keeps getting close to the mountaintop but fails. Yeah. Then he has to keep coming and coming and coming. So eventually he finally gets that moment where he captures the title from the champion.
Yeah. That's
what this feels like. It feels like these two guys are just battling, but that one guy is one step ahead.
Yeah.
Until the end when that one guy just finally gets his moment.
We got to get Aaron over. Let's see what happens. That was your signature this week. Good time. I enjoyed that signature. Solid ideas all around. Mousse. Who knew it was so hard to make? But as it turns out, it's not a breezy situation.
The one thing I took away from that whole thing was when the judges were critiquing each one, and they're like, "Oh, this was more like a such and such," or "This was, the consistency of this." And I'm just like, "There's so many varying degrees of things that live in that world, and you're able to just pick it up off the palate that the field tastes. Like that's crazy."
But Prue Leith is a Michelin-starred restaurateur, so she knows her stuff. And Paul Hollywood been baking forever, and of course does this shit forever. So it's like I'm like I dig that they can. It's more like a fool. One, never heard of a dessert called a fool before in my life. So
yeah, the things they were naming, I never heard of. Like I've had chocolate mousse, I never had blah 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 blah.
Yeah. So
I'm just like, what is that? And where can I get that?
You gotta whip that up for me. I wonder if there are British restaurants about. It's like because we always hear how bad British food is. But somebody loves British food, and if they had a restaurant that served up,
beans,
some noms that wasn't beans and tuna on a jacket potato, it'd be.
That was one of the things I laughed at about while watching this show is when the one host was like, "You're almost through with this challenge." I was like, "Through." Then it made me think of that TikTok, like Peter Parker,
Water.
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. It's tuna. It's those flips that make me chuckle, man. It's like it's so fun. Like if you looked at England on a map, you'd be like, it covers so little of space, but it's still like 56 different accents in that set of countries. It's crazy. Just like go up the road a little bit, and it's a very different. And so I guess they say that's a lot. Oftentimes in America, it'll be like that, but I'm like, nah, man. 2 hours away. Most people in Columbus are good. But something I just found out on TikTok the other day. Apparently, cassata cake is a Cleveland thing.
Okay.
No, I mean, can you imagine an entire just us? Like, go up the road to Columbus. They don't seem to know about it. Sandusky doesn't seem to know about it. I'm like, wait, what? Also, it's disgusting. I hate that cake. It's wet. But still, the fact that that's an us thing, I'm just like, no way. That's all us. That's crazy to me. If you don't know what a cassata, if you do know what a cassata cake is and aren't from Northeast Ohio, not even from Cleveland, I'm just gonna put it on us in this situation. Holler at your boy. Let me know. Don't look it up. Just let me know if you know. And if you don't know, we'll tell you about it. All right.
I mean, like, I Googled it and it says where it's from.
Yeah.
And
it's
it
like,
ain't
Italian,
from
right?
us.
Yeah, it's an Italian Christian.
Italian cake.
Apparently, Italian immigrants brought it over here, and it just didn't spread far and wide. So it's
probably because it looks ugly. At least all it looks like bad, like Christmas fruit cake.
No. Cassata cake is when I've seen, and they're usually beautiful. It's just some wet sponge. It's got too much wet cream and strawberries. Usually, people do make up.
Google it, man, and it's not like all I did was Google it, and it's all the pictures that it came up in Google. I didn't like some of them were like clearly made to look like ornaments and shit. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cuss.
It's okay. We curse a little bit. I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and you can tell me. Normally, we don't delve into it, but it happens to be talking about baking. You let me know if this cake is familiar to y'all at all. I've never seen a chocolate ricotta cassata cake. You can doing some of that. That might be doing the thing, but it's because it's all fruit. You know how I get down. I don't like fruit or wet cake, and yeah, this is what I'm kind of familiar with when discussing cassata cake. It's like a tres leches kind of vibe. That cake is way wetter than you think it is, and then it's just
That's
moist.
kind of like the cake that the steakhouse gave me for free on Friday when we were there for my birthday.
Huh.
It's like a mini cassata cake.
Yeah, look at Cleveland style. They actually call it Cleveland style. It's like I said, that's a
it was like that. It was like a miniature, like multi-layer cake.
yeah.
With in the inside, like like that picture, the fruit layer. But
Yeah.
inside the one they gave me, it was kind of like more like a fruit gel.
It's wild to me, y'all. Anyway, cassata cake. There you go. Let's talk technical. Because this week's technical is something they've never done before. This was kind of shocking, actually. So your basic is it's a white chocolate tart. Gravy, nothing to it. But no, in a bake-off first, the bakers are asked to make a white chocolate tart. It should, of course, include a buttery short crust pastry and a silky smooth set white chocolate ganache. But instead of a recipe, the bakers are going to be asked to use their artistic license to choose from the gingham pantry. Whatever they take from the pantry has to be used in the bake. So basically, they've set out this whole table full of items, fruits, spices, so forth and so on, various leaves, chocolate and so forth. And they're saying, hey, grab something off this table, but if you take it off the table, you got to use it in the bake. They got 5 minutes to basically shop at the pantry here, and then 2.5 hours to complete the bake. So Box has never done this live, so he has never gotten to see these little video packages that this show has.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure how long that donut was going to keep getting eaten.
I think everything's set to be about 30 seconds, so it's all good. They're set to be commercial length. So what it's supposed to be is that's just the music to make some, like, if ever we for a minute there, we actually, before Spotify changed their rules, we got an ad one time. It was for a Batman podcast. It was so weird they thought this show would work with that, but I'm like, whatever, Spotify, you know better. And so it's set up to be basically, if you hear that and we get ads at some point, that should be where the ad would drop in. It would drop in either right at the end or beginning of that song. That's basically what those musical interludes are for, people. So we're gonna judge them like we normally do, but because everybody's made something different, you're gonna get a little more in depth in their judgment because everybody has their own recipe basically this go around. So Leslie's up top. She went for a lemon thyme curd and with white chocolate shards. They like the look of it. Prue takes a bite and basically says it's key lime pie, and it's delicious. It isn't set quite, but the base is good, very crisp, nice and short. So it's well made otherwise. Natalia's up next. Pistachio, lemon, white chocolate, passion fruit, and cream cheese. It has everything in it, is what Prue says. But the base is very thick with 2 C's, y'all. But it tastes delicious. But loose as a mousse, which is like, I know you didn't mean to do that, Paul, but it's pretty funny that you did that. But again, the crust is thick, just too thick. So they like the flavor of it, but it's just like, nah, that crust doing too much. Jasmine, white chocolate tart with a raspberry cream, a hazelnut crunch, a dark chocolate ganache with a citrus garnish. It's very pretty, y'all. The raspberry and hazelnut would have worked well with the white chocolate. The problem is the chocolate ganache sort of overwhelms the white chocolate, making for a chocolate tart when they wanted a white chocolate tart, which was the brief. Basically, imagine if you would, dark chocolate mixed with white chocolate is just milk chocolate. You've just made Hershey's. Not Hershey's. Let's not disrespect these people like that. Cadbury, we'll give them a little better than that. And so that's what Jasmine ends up whipping up, and it looked gorgeous. And I bet you it tasted good as a mug, too. Toby, whipped white chocolate ganache with a passion fruit and lime curd, topped with milk chocolate decorations. Paul looks at the chocolate and is like, slightly wilted there, aren't they? That they needed to have been tempered better so they would have been able to have been stood up on the tart. The pastry has been overworked and is like rubber. The flavor combinations, though, are great, and you can taste the white chocolate, which is kind of the intent. Ian, raspberry and white chocolate, looks a mess. Obviously been dropped. Quite pale. That pastry needed longer in the oven. They like the flavor combination. The raspberry is lovely, very fresh and not too sweet. Shame that the base is not existent. As my man was trying to take this off the pan and put it on the serving tray, that bad boy just slid off and just was like, nope. And it just crumbled. And I was just like, they just showed 6 other bakers successfully take their tart off a pan and set it on a platter. How did you mess this up?
This man has a history, though, of having collapsing desserts. So,
well, we don't title these shows, but collapsing desserts would be the title if we were to on this one, y'all. It was bad, terrible. Also, it turns out it was just a poorly baked crust, so it turns out there's a lot going on there.
We should probably also issue a stat correction because on the one episode of this that I did watch and I did guest star on, I believe we mentioned that this man was married, and it turns out he is in fact not married. He's currently not even engaged.
Well, by now he is engaged. So
well, maybe she saw how he was dropping the desserts. It's like, oh no, we can't have you dropping our baby.
Aaron is up next. He's going for thyme infused with white chocolate ganache tart. Lovely color. The flavor's all right. Would have preferred if it was filled to the top of the pastry shell. But they do like the pastry as well. It's nice. Nadia, blackberry and raspberry jam tart with a white chocolate ganache and chantilly blackberry cream. Chantilly cream is just whipped cream, if you ever wonder what that is. There's a lot of other creams in the baking game, but chantilly cream is just standard whipped cream with the fancy French name on the front of it. The pastry's too thick. It's also underbaked. They don't like the colors. They don't like the textures. And the pastry's too thick. Otherwise, just love it. That was wild. It was a ride on that one. I was like, girl, what you doing? Girl, what you doing? Anyway, Tom, white chocolate tart with blackberry and basil cream. It looks nice. The pastry cut well. The snap is nice. But the basil gives it an unusual flavor that unfortunately overwhelms the white chocolate. It's interesting, but it's not delicious.
Basil to me in a dessert just sounds odd.
It just sounds gross. I know I probably shouldn't be calling stuff gross having not tasted it, but they did taste it. It was like, this is not hidden. They say it's not delicious, but they still end up putting him pretty high as we go through these rankings here. But as I look at it, I can understand why. In eighth, which is crazy to me that Ian is not in eighth, but I guess his kind of tasted good. So, well, I guess we can allow for it. Nadia Prudley comes out and says, you're a much better baker. She grandmas her. You're a much better baker than this. This is like concrete walls. Sorry, Grandma. Ian, they just say pastry. And he goes, dropped it. And they all laugh. Ha, ha, ha. Isn't that funny? It's not, Ian. It's really not. 6 is Natalia. 5 is Toby. 4 is Tom. 3rd is Aaron. Jasmine comes in 2nd. If she would have came in first this week, it would have been 3 in a row. So I understand. Dark chocolate completely overwhelms the white chocolate, but it's absolutely delicious. Just kind of fire when you figure it out. Like, I don't taste no white chocolate, but everything you did was good, girl. So I love that for her. Leslie comes in first, highlighted the white chocolate. Just need to set up a bit more. So then I'm like, I guess the white chocolate is hitting. But all you've complained about is people's custard not being set, not custard, ganache in this case, not being set. And you tell me hers isn't set, but you're saying it don't matter in this case because it tastes so good.
But I mean, like, just because someone got first place doesn't mean their dish was perfect. Like, someone's got to come in first, flaws and all.
Fair. And also, Paul's favorite dessert is key lime pie. She just basically made his favorite dessert unintentionally or intentionally, I can't call it. And it's kind of worked out. I don't know how I would have put Leslie in first, is all I'm saying. Probably would switch Leslie. Actually, I'd probably put Leslie in 3rd. I would have been Jasmine first, Aaron in 2nd. But I don't judge this. I simply judge them before judging it. So it's all good. Oh my gosh. Let's get on over to the Showstopper. The Showstopper this week is kind of fantastic. It's a chocolate fondue display. It's a spectacular chocolatey fondue display, a highly decorated centerpiece with an edible dipping pot that can house the chocolate sauce. It should be themed and have a baked element. They have 4.5 hours to complete. Man, I always ask Nick Jew if she was showstopped, and I don't have a Nick Jew to ask if she was showstopped. I'm going to tell you, I was kind of showstopped this week. Box, were you impressed by the output in this particular Showstopper?
What do you mean by like what everyone did?
Yeah. Just you don't got to narrow down anybody, but just the idea pretty much like, was you like, that's kind of cool, or were you like, eh?
There were like a few that I was like, oh wow, that came out pretty cool. Like,
yeah. Now,
I know you're gonna run. I'll wait till you run down so I get my thoughts on.
You want it with you. If it's one that you really want to discuss, jump in.
So, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're good. I'm setting you up. We're gonna give and go for a little bit here. Nadia's up first. She's making Ladies' Day tempered chocolate shoes filled with hazelnut liqueur fondant. So basically, the shoes are gonna be the container for the fondue. She's making Saviardi biscuits, which are basically ladyfingers. I know you're like, that's a fancy name for ladyfingers. She's going to both make some of those and use them in her tiramisu. She's making chocolate and almond biscuits as well. In the UK, Ladies' Day, because I was like, what the hell is Ladies' Day? Is that a magazine or whatever? No, Ladies' Day is a highlight of major horse racing festivals, primarily known for glamour, fashion, and socializing. While the horse racing is, of course, the main event, Ladies' Day often features a best dressed competition and attracts a huge crowd dressed in extravagant outfits and headwear, which is why she's making a hat and shoes. So it vibes. Ladies' Day, Nadia.
So I know that she had some problems with her fondue. Are we calling it fondue?
She's making fondue. The fondue actually in her situation was fine. It was her container.
Well, I know, but I was just clarifying the actual terminology because in my mind, when I hear fondue, I think cheese.
Yeah, chocolate fondue is a thing.
Yeah, I know. I was just making sure. But all right, so her container, I know that like she had problems with the shoe setting, the chocolate mold breaking and whatnot. And so she had to remake and she was just kind of scrambling. I'm hoping that the original thought had more to the shoe than what ultimately ended up being. Like I'm hoping that like maybe she was going to paint it or something, because if it was just going to be the chocolate mold of what it ended up being, and like I said, I know she had to redo it and so she was scrambling for time. I just don't know what the original plan was, because if the original plan was kind of a similar thing to what we got, I was very unimpressed.
I hear you. You ain't wrong. So Toby's going for Campsite Delight. It's a chocolate camping pot to hold roasted pistachio and amaretto fondue. He's going to make graham crackers, marshmallows, and churros to dip in a chocolate genoise sponge for the pot to sit on. Leslie's making Death by Chocolate fondue. She's going to make these isomalt crisps. She describes going to the beach or the water as a youngster, and they seeing rocks, and the rocks had little shiny crystals to them. Of course, they were little, and they thought they were like diamonds, and just sharing a fond memory. And she's going to make a cake around that theme. And so she's making Death by Chocolate fondue. So to represent those diamonds, she's using isomalt to make crystals. The chocolate cups for the fondue to pour. She was going to build these chocolate cups that kind of are set in various heights. And in theory, the fondue should pour down from one to the other, to the bottom, into an isomalt and chocolate pool. She's going to make Melting Moments biscuits and Irish cream profiteroles, which will sit atop the chocolate sponge. Melting Moments, which I didn't know about, I've never heard of them before, are unleavened egg-free cookies or biscuits. Your turn of phrase. I was supposed to change that to biscuits. I just did. They are literally melt in your mouth. They can be served in plain or coated with powdered sugar. And also, of course, two biscuits can be filled and sandwiched together, which is what Leslie does here. She fills them with a chocolate of some sort. Profiteroles, cream puffs. It's just the French word for them. So just shoe pastry filled with, in this case, an Irish cream cream. So there you go. Irish cream liqueur cream. Natalia is going for a pistachio lemon white chocolate. Nope. I just rolled up the screen. So I'm like, that's not right. Ian is going for a Glenarth Park. He explains that him and his lady have vibes here at this park. And in fact, his intention is to, in the very near future, propose to her at said park. And what he's going to make is Irish cream chocolate fondue that will cascade down a modeling chocolate tree-topped mountain into bourbon cream biscuits surround. See, the biscuits are going to surround a pool along with honeycomb boulders.
His was one of the ones where, like, while he was building, I was like, I don't know this. And then when I saw the final product, I was like, all right, my boy, you pulled it together.
So I don't know if you know this, and the signature and the Showstopper, they can practice. So they can make them as many times as they think they need to before they get to the tent to actually make them. So with good practice and shooting your shots up, getting your shots up should make for good product on either end of the show. The technical is the one they have no real control over. So I'm going to assume he practiced it and knew what he was doing. And of course, it turned out very well.
I mean, but like you would like to think that all of them would be like that, and
No, because some people don't.
Problems.
Because some people don't practice, but also it's still going from your house in the oven in the kitchen, to the middle of a field in rural England.
I know, but at this point, like they know that kitchen. Like they've been there this is week 5, my man.
My lady who got sent home last week discussed that her oven was acting up, and that's what made her the cake she was baking for her showstopper not turn out well. It's any given Sunday in these situations, as you know. Jasmine is going for a chocolate tree. I don't like how she described it chocolate because what I think she's making actually is a fondue fountain, and like it looks great. But to say chocolate tree, I mean it's a tree at the top of that bad boy, but it's doing a lot of heavy lifting. Chocolate sablé biscuit bowls coated in tempered dark and milk chocolate. So one bowl is dark chocolate, the middle bowl is milk chocolate, the bottom bowl, the bigger bowl, is dark chocolate. And there's these slits in the top bowl because that's where you're going to pour the fondue, which should then spill out into the middle bowl, and that's where you dip at. She's making an amaretto fondue that will, again, I just explained it all before I had it in my notes, that will cascade from the top bowl to the middle bowl, along with pear and raspberry financiers, and white chocolate chunk brownies for dipping. Financiers are small, moist French almond cake with a buttery, nutty flavor and a light, crisp exterior. The cake's rich flavor comes from Bear Noisette brown butter and almond flour. They are a classic French patisserie and are often served with coffee or tea. In this case, fondue.
I was impressed with how like the top of hers looked, like the detail in the tree topper part.
Yeah.
And then her skill of making the various chocolate bowls, I was impressed with.
Yeah. She can keep it up. She got something to say. I'll just leave it at that. Aaron, Piano alla Grande. A tempered chocolate grand piano, our second piano of this our second piano based showstopper this season, will hold sour cherry spiked fondue. Sablé biscuits and 5 spiced Florentines are there for dipping, all set atop this cake cookie structure. Kind of cool. Tom is going for Ocean Scene. It's chocolate profiteroles. They're going to be filled with raspberry and hazelnut, raspberry filled eclairs, and lemon madeleines. Chocolate molded sea creatures will be placed in a cardamom, pistachio, and white chocolate fondue. Madeleines are very small sponge cakes with a distinct shell-like shape acquired from being baked in pans with shell-shaped depressions. They are made with Genoise sponge batter. You know what a madeleine looks like, but I wonder if you've ever had, not you per se, but you the listener, and I guess you, Dan, as well. You know what a madeleine looks like. It looks like seashells. But I don't think I've ever had someone actually whip up some madeleines for me. So, can't call it. They have a very specific look to them, and
I was impressed with the detailing on what he did.
Yeah, he really he's again him and Jasmine, kind of your 1 and 2 here, in any given week. In fact, Natalia is going for the last day of Pompeii.
This is the one that I had opinions on.
It's a Rice Krispie and dark chocolate sponge filled with mango and passion fruit curd. She's making a mango and passion fruit curd Mount Vesuvius to pour lava, which is red raspberry white chocolate fondue down to the ruins of Pompeii, which are made from choux buns, which themselves are filled with passion fruit cream and these cake boulders. This to me was spectacular. I cannot believe she pulled it off. I can't believe it looked how it looked. She also, if you remember the first episode, and because you watched that one, she made the landscape that was Ukraine. Mm-hmm. She got a thing for topographical mapping or something. I don't know.
Here's the thing about this one. I fully admit that she did a fantastic job of like making the landscape and making all the detailing work, and the lava fondue looked beautiful coming down. it was just the coloring of it and the theme that kind of sent me into like a spiraling depression of like, I'm thinking like we're about to have a happy dessert time here, like a nice memory or something like uplifts my spirits. And they're like, she comes in with like, nah, we're gonna make a dessert of a historical event that murdered an entire civilization.
The Last Day of Pompeii is a beautiful painting, which is what that's based on. That's it. We're gonna go with that. I get it. We're just gonna go with the painting.
I'm trying to dip cookies in chocolate, and you're over here making me think about people dying to a mountain, like a volcano.
It's crazy times, y'all. It's crazy times. We're gonna get to the judging right after this. Oh my gosh. Hey man, this was a one. This right here is a bit of, I don't know, man. It really was a fun showstopper. It's a very good chocolate week. So I kind of loved how this all played out. Natalia, this looks amazing. It's impressive. In fact, Prue calls it picture perfect. Lovely, soft cake, fantastic flavor. Shoe buns is good. The fondue is delicious as the raspberry is just at the right level. It's delicious. Well done. It just makes Box think of the poor people of Pompeii.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to think happy thoughts, not murder and death.
Tom, solid construction. Prue is impressed that the sea creatures rose up as she poured the fondue. The filling of the profiteroles and the eclairs unfortunately overwhelms the fondue. Not in a bad way. It still tastes good. But Paul would have liked for the fondue just basically to have hit harder. Leslie looks amazing. The fondue doesn't pour well, but that's only because, like I said, that's more of an engineering issue than a baking one. She didn't know if the cups was going to pour it. She was like,
that's the one where the one popped off as soon as you started to pour it in?
Yeah. She's like, bruh.
I like how nonchalant she was about it, too, because, like, she finished hers. She's, like, the first person to finish the test, and then just sits there for 20 minutes, and all the kids are looking around like, how are you so good at this? and then you get to the grading and she gets like a C+, and you're like, oh, so you really didn't know what you were doing.
You just did it fast.
Yeah. It's just like, oh yeah, you were done engineering earlier, but you couldn't get your chocolate to pour.
The melting moments biscuits are simple yet effective. The cream inside the profiteroles lends itself to a grown-up fondue situation. But that cake is dry and the buttercream is gritty. But the profiteroles and the biscuits are perfect. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Aaron, they love the look. They think the piano is incredible and special, really shiny and beautiful. Never tasted the Florentine like that. It's a 5-spice Florentine. So you got Chinese 5-spice inside of a Florentine biscuit. Hey. Prue enjoys it because it's not so sweet. The chocolate biscuit is beautiful, light, buttery, and the fondue has a nice kick to it. Basically, Aaron crushed.
This is one where I wish that I could have tasted it because, I don't know, I like the look of it made me want a little something more out of the cookies. They were kind of flat. There was I measured they probably tasted great, but they just look kind of basic bitch.
It again is. I feel like Aaron is always missing that zhuzh, and I'm
he spent so much time making that piano shape and getting it to hold the fondue, and he did have the pizzazz with the one cookie, but it looked almost like a granola bar of sorts.
The Florentines, yeah.
But then the other one was just it looked like he cut up some odd shape of a person or something, and then there was no discernible colorization to it, no real I don't know. I think if he just hit a little harder on that.
But that's the thing. Those are the violins, and they absolutely. Paul Hollywood said it was the best chocolate biscuit he's ever had, ever. So it must have been hitting.
The taste. I'm talking about visually.
Yeah, I find it fascinating. Like
that's why I'm saying that everything I prefaced on this was I wish I could have tasted it.
Yeah,
because the visualization of some of the accessories felt a little flat to me.
Like a little biscuit. Ian, look straight out of Lord of the Rings. Really clever. Lovely biscuits. The fondue flavor carries through to the biscuit and the honeycomb. Very well done. And this is basically what he wanted Tom to pull off. You want to be able to, you want to dip your joint up in it, but you want that fondue to still be fonduing. And Tom's wasn't, and Ian's was. So Ian, after I would go so far as to call it a disastrous technical, comes through in the Showstopper.
Yeah, I felt like he redeemed himself. I was very impressed with this one.
Yeah,
the cookies looked like they were popping.
Yeah,
the scenery was well pulled off. The fondue drizzled, so nicely in a little pool. Like I felt like the boy knocked it out of the park.
For sure. Jasmine looks really impressive. Very Jasmine. The financier's first just tastes like financier, and then you get a pop of the fruit flavor. The brownies are nice and crunchy on the outside, but soft and gooey on the inside, just full of flavor. They love the biscuit. It's an excellent display. It looks lovely, tastes lovely. The texture is just right. A rare, as in this is the 7th ever we kept count. Showstopper Hollywood handshake. They don't get handshakes at the end here. They'll get them at the beginning, but rarely, 7 times out of 16 seasons. And one person got 2 because he was real good at what he was doing. But and in fact, hold on. I got you some stats.
A good way to win me over too was with a brownie.
Of course. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? A well-made brownie at that. Do a little screen share with you here. This is GBBO data, and they do data dumps of all things Great British Baking Show, Bake Off. And in this case, we're talking handshakes. This week, Paul Hollywood gave out 2 Hollywood handshakes. The first to Tom for his signature tiramisu chocolate mousse cups, and the second to Jasmine for her Showstopper chocolate tree chocolate fondue. This is the 9th time Paul has given 2 handshakes in a single episode. And the 13th time he's given out more than 1. 4 times he gave 3 handshakes. Handshakes are given out for signature bakes 87.1% of the time. That's what I just said. I'm saying they rarely do we get them in the Showstopper, and 12.9% for Showstoppers. No one has ever gotten a handshake in the technical, and I don't even know how you could. GBBO data, I think, is something you should be following, but because they follow the British line of reasoning, I've had this week's episode spoiled for me, and I haven't watched it yet. Because they came through with some data points that was right there in their first square, and I was like, oh, okay. Not a bad spoiler, a fine spoiler, because it's somebody I bang with, and I'm proud of them for doing what they do. So it's cool. Nadia, the tempering of the chocolate is exceptional. So shiny. Great consistency in the fondue. The Savoy biscuits, on the other hand, needed more time, needed a longer bake. The chocolate biscuits, though, is doing the do. The chocolate and hazelnut tiramisu is delicious. It's just a shame it didn't work out. 2 weeks ago, having a delicious little situation like this, but it not look great, she would have stayed in the tent. But 2 weeks later, we can't play that no more. Too many people made really amazing things, and she didn't. Toby's bringing up the rear, y'all. Impressed with the pot because it's all very thin. The churros are over-fried. The graham crackers are hard. The cake is bone dry, and they don't like the flavor. Good God. Toby had a terrible showstopper this week, y'all. His saving grace is that Nadia did so bad. So bad. Your star baker this week is Aaron. Now, I'm down. That's folk, so that's cool. But I honestly feel like Jasmine should have three-peated. She should have been star baker this week. It's cool. I get it. I get why, because my man came through in the showstopper and did really well in the signature. And was in the top 3 in the technical. So he had a good week. He really did have a Star Baker week. I'm just saying I could argue for Jasmine. Sent home is unfortunately Nadia. I am now Bake Off boo-less. I don't have a boo in the tent no more. I will, of course, now root for Natalia because she's a cutie, but that's not my boo, and I'm going to miss me some Nadia. But she had a bad week, y'all. This is a week. So we'll often say people will reach the extent of their abilities in the tent. And this week, it wasn't just bad luck. She just was bad at chocolate, and just in all 3 events. You know what I'm saying? Signature, technical, and Showstopper. Just bad at all 3 of them. And so chocolate is just not her thing, and that's okay. So she also had a terrible technical challenge last week. Came in last in technical last week. So Nadia just kind of she came to the end of her rope, and that's fine. She's just out of her depth at that point. She will be missed. I need to watch her Last Slice episode. They do a Talking Dead style show called The Extra Slice. And they bring a lady in, they talk to her, they talk to the baker in general, and they talk about it's fun. So it's good stuff. I'll send you a link to it just because. Normally, you can catch us live in the chat every Tuesday around 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We had to do it a bit late today because I was late on getting my notes all together. It just is a day. I'm not used to not having a Nick Jew. I am grateful to have a lunchbox who could come through and hook you up because, like I said, this is his day to just kind of kick it. And thank you so much for joining us here to help me get this off. It was gonna be me doing this by myself, and I don't think that would have been a good time.
It would have been fine.
Fine is not what I want to do. I like doing great, and you made it great. So thank you for that. Make sure to comment, subscribe, and also share with anyone you think is getting down what we do over here. Our YouTube. We just more subscribers on YouTube is the more likelihood that we get seen by other people who might bang with us. So you subscribing and giving us a thumbs up helps other people see what we're doing. So consider hooking us up with that. If you're on Apple or Spotify, give us them 5 stars. Come on, man. We earned them. Come on. I've listened to some other Bake Off podcasts, and I'm not to be disrespectful, but trust we're doing a better job than they are. Just saying. I'm going to be real with you. They don't do what we do. They simply don't. If you're so inclined, give us a message over at podcast@stagecrunchyandmilk.com or call, text, leave us a voicemail at 216-264-6311. That's 216-264-6311. We certainly love to hear from you. And hear from you, of course, it's the big homie Frank. It's the email he sent us. Thoughts on season 16 Chocolate Week. Hey, all. First, I'm curious what happened with the live broadcast. Nothing came up Tuesday on YouTube. I thought maybe there was an emergency until I saw the video up here on Friday. We've discussed, what's up now. And that was just the service we used to make this show. Just had an issue. Can't call it. Anyway, another solid week in the can with everyone seeming to be more hyped up than usual. Plenty of innuendo, plenty of liquor references with Prue. Noel being extra with the Gingham Pantry. with the Gingham Pantry. Wow, on the technical challenge. I'm genuinely in fear of the contestants on the next technical challenge. We'll see what they do. It's probably just going to be a normal one because next week is pastry week. And that's not something you really want to be, I don't know. You don't pull surprises out on pastry week. Just leave them be. Congrats to Aaron, although I'm genuinely surprised he was named Star Baker. Same. That's why we need Frank on the show.
I'll be honest. I felt like they threw him a freebie. Kind of like trying to get him to step it up a little, man. This could be yours.
Hey, that's real. That piano was truly lovely and full of praise, but both Tom, of course, and Jasmine got handshakes. For Jasmine to get it for the Showstopper, you would think that would seal the deal. Guess they didn't want to give it to her 3 weeks in a row. She still should have got it. I said, respect due to Aaron. I know why they gave it to him. There's just enough argument to be like, but you're right. That handshake, if it has the meaning that we seem to think it does, means, hey, man, just, hook my girl up. But also, Jasmine is really, really, really good. So I think we'll be okay.
I mean, it just goes back to the whole thing of like they're playing up the chase, but then they give him the reward too early. Like you got to let the suspense build up. You're not gonna get the payoff. Like if you let him win one, like it's got to be a surprise. Like he's got to fail, but like not fail in a way that makes him look weak.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, they put him over a little too soon. He ain't ready. He ain't ready.
The crowd wasn't ready for the pop.
Yep. It's a cheap pop, is what that was. You were absolutely correct. And that's and because it's cheap and it felt cheap, it doesn't feel as good as if he actually got that.
Yeah. Now, if he wins, it's not going to feel as good.
Yeah. Where'd I leave off at 3 weeks ago? Okay. However,
now I'm kind of rooting against him, if I'm being honest.
However, I think Aaron has indeed turned things around. Him being all sassy with Tom, I think, is a good indicator of his confidence level. Two gays engaging in a feud with lighthearted shade is always fun, and I hope they keep it going. Ian managed not to be a train wreck this week. He really had a terrible technical, Frank. But good on him for wondering if they kept him around for entertainment purposes. Oh, Toby. Poor Toby. He looked pretty tired and weary this episode. Even so, Nadia was the right person to go. It was a bad week all around for her. She looked content on Extra Slice. I can't wait. I need to watch that Extra Slice episode. Speaking of which, there were audience members who brought in their cakes that must be described. One, a recreation of a girlfriend trip from hell in Vietnam, where one person got severe sunburn and another got food poisoning. They made a cake to represent this. On the Extra Slice show, this Talking Dead show, the audience members will bring in a cake to be judged. It's weird. Another cake had Prue attending a carrot patch in her backyard. She was passed out drunk from too much wine, along with a rabbit that was also passed out drunk. I got to see these cakes. I'm going to watch this after I get done with this. 3, a recreation of a fever dream with Paul in a Borat-style mankini, Noel in a Dracula cape, as well as Allison and Prue all in a hot tub. Also in the tub was Tom Allen, who was the host of the one of the hosts of the Extra Slice. What is going on with this cake? All skinny dipping. The cake was made with mayonnaise. No. I was thinking more like, no, mayonnaise is as opposed to oil is a thing people make for cake all the time. That's a regular thing. And the guest panelists tried it out and liked it. Yeah. The mayonnaise is a replacement for oil, and I think both oil and eggs is a known for a richer chocolate cake. If you didn't know that, now you do. I checked out the Halloween American Baking Show special. I have not watched it yet. It was entertaining. Paul and Prue really loosened up and went dig for dig. That says a lot when you have Leslie Jones, Patton Oswalt and Patton Oswalt as bakers. Casey dressed as Prue during the first challenge, and they had skits, although the editing was a little wonky at times throughout the episode. Well, all my best till next week and the Gingham Pantry. Frank. Thanks, Frank. Frank, thanks always for supporting. Like I said, holler at me, see if we can get you in the chat with us for an episode this series. It'd be very fun to hear from you. You know, something I don't tell you guys often is that we have merch. See that? That's a Stage Crunchy Milk shirt, because Stage Crunchy Milk is the podcast Dan and I do together. And we have a store. And it's tpublic.com/stagecrunchyandmilk, /user/stagecrunchyandmilk, all one word. And you can get shirts and stuff over there, including the Krème Patisserie logo is available to be on a shirt, a wallet, or whatever they have going on. You know, good time to be had. I would tell you to go check that out and maybe get down on that if you're so inclined. If you think you want some merch, we do have it available. I just never think to tell you guys that, because that's not something I think about when I do this show. That's weird. In case you didn't know, we have a whole nother podcast. It's called Stage Crunchy Milk. Dan and I do it together. It's just me and my buddy and his buddy and he talking about the week. We talk about what went on, news from the state of Ohio, because that's where we live. We do a little Reddit segment.
We judge buttholes.
Yeah. We judge if they're butthole. We don't judge buttholes. Hey, yo. It's a fun show. We've been doing it now, God, 13 going on 14 years. It's a real good show. I think we do a good product over there, and you might enjoy that as well if you enjoy what we're doing over here. A little more potty mouthed over there. I'm going to let you know. I try to keep it a little PG-13 over here. That one definitely rated R. So just so you know. Time to be happy. That one on Thursdays around the, if you want to get down on that one, and no worries if you don't. Just saying, you got an option. That is my homie Lunchbox 2099. Where can the people keep up with you, good sir, if you are so inclined?
You can stalk me on social media at Lunchbox2099 on most platforms. I'm not active on hardly anything. I'm more of a lurker these days, but every now and again you may catch me saying something stupid somewhere.
Fair enough. Our missing lady is Nick Jew. Send her some love, just because I said so, and leave it at that. Today, it's Pokemon Snap. If you're
I
wondering
saw the Pokemon logo back there, yeah.
If you're wondering what's on the old the N64 on the TV behind me, I am the Internet's Table 713. Bake with us again next time. Peace.
What happened to your ass? It used to be beautiful.
Stays crunchy and milk.